Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Jay, and this is Homeschool Your Kids podcast. Today we have with us Marilyn. Marilyn, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I am Marilyn Moore, aka Marilyn the Chef, CEO of Marilyn the Chef Inc. I am a homeschooling mother. I'm a public speaker. I am a divine being ready to take over anything that needs it. I'm on this
Yes.
earth to end what we think, what we know, what we've been trained, and to live up to the expectations that we have for ourselves.
Oh, yes. Okay. Walk us through it because, it's been a while since we've caught up as far as on the podcast goes.
Mhm.
I think the last interview I did with you was probably 3 years ago.
Mhm.
So, honey, you got a lot to share because I've been seeing you on Instagram, little baddie up there doing headstands and everything else. I be telling you goals and be like you when I grow up because you use your voice, Marilyn, and that's something I will always admire about you. You are not afraid to speak up. So, tell us, walk us through this journey. How do we get here? How do we get to the homeschooling? How do we get to the Marilyn the Chef? How do we get to the healing? How do we get?
So, homeschooling was something that I knew I wanted to do. And when you're on a journey, we can call it this a journey of infertility and not sure that you will ever become a mother. I feel like sometimes you can go into I'm a writer, I'm a creative person, I'm an artist. As you see my artwork behind me, it's a phoenix. What I want, I manifested through art, through writing, through drawing. And I just started thinking, what if I do become a mother? And that's where it started. I said, my kids are going to be homeschooled. I want to make sure I breastfeed. I didn't know much about home birthing, which I ended up doing, but I didn't know anything about that at that time. But I knew, I was like, I don't want my kids in these buildings. While I was saying it, I was terrified because I didn't know any homeschooler. I didn't know any kids was home with them. That sounds weird. And in New York, it's like, you got to be outside. You can't be social and all this other derogatory things because I respect people of all abilities. It is a colloquialism of New York. So I just want to correct myself because I don't want people to get offended who are not
But
from
if you didn't hear the accent, know that this is what this is, New York.
this is it, right? And I know that I wanted to allow my Black children to be themselves. And I did not feel the buildings that I was working in and a part of allowed children to be themselves. They groomed them into what they felt society needed them to be. And that is a disservice to a human being. No matter what race, gender, creed, religion you are, to not be able to be your authentic self will cause long-term illnesses and different disruptions in our nervous system and our endocrine system. And I'm just not here for that. I'm here to be well to the best of my abilities as a child who had epilepsy, who overcame being on meds full time, had forms of depression, anxiety, some of it caused by medication for epilepsy, and knowing that all of it was created by stress. I was not born with epilepsy. These were side effects of a stressful life. A student showing up in an environment at home that wasn't at its best, but as long as I got straight A's and smiled for people, everything was okay when it wasn't. So,
Homeschool families. Homeschool Yo Kids Expo and Homeschool Beats Academy are teaming up to bring you a day of real support and real inspiration. Come explore curriculum and enrichment, meet trusted vendors, and connect with the homeschool community. And at our featured Expo stop, meet Homeschool Beats Academy and see how students ages 7 to 18 can create original music through beat making and production with parent-friendly guidance. Get dates and details at homeschoolyokidsexpo.com.
I say all of that to say how when the babies started coming, and there's lots of them, it's 4 of those babies, I knew I want to know where I was going to put them. Like, where are they going to go eventually? Because one came and 18 months later, another one came whose birthday is actually tomorrow. She turns 13. So 13 years
to
ago.
22nd.
Yes, 13 years ago, I had on Earth Day. And of course, I was a teenager who started the first recycling program in my neighborhood. I was obsessed with the earth. I was obsessed with trees that they did not exist in the Bronx unless you went to Van Cortlandt Park or big parks. But our neighborhoods did not have trees in certain neighborhoods. Let's get that together, because in Throgs Neck, Pelham Bay, they had trees over there. But they didn't have trees in our environment, and half the buildings are burning down. And we needed them trees to breathe, but they were not. So I say all that to say, then this baby comes after my first birth in the hospital. It gave me another look at the institutions of this country. And I started doing research about birthing all around the world. And I had this dope doula who was sent to me. She was from the Bronx, because I was meeting doulas and all these birth workers, and they were just like, love and light. Oh, wow, eclectic flow. I was like, I don't want you touching me. What are you? Like, it was just so much like show. And I'm not judging anyone who walks that way, but that's not me. And I wanted to find someone who can relate to me, who honored my colloquialism. And she was from Davison Avenue in the Bronx, and she understood me. We knew each other, and she helped me see that a hospital was not for me. I went to one anyway.
Homeschool families, are you ready to refresh your plans for the year? Join us at the Homeschool Your Kids Expo. Meet curriculum and enrichment vendors, discover new programs, and connect with a community that gets it, all in one place. Come with questions, leave with real options. Get event details and register now at homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com. That's homeschoolyourkidsexpo.com.
And the way they snatch my baby, these people, this is what they do everywhere. So after they snatch my baby in a hospital, they're going to snatch my baby in a building that I can't see my kid for 9 hours a day with strangers who I'm going to hang out with at 4:00 at the happy hour, and I'm just like, I'm going to be there. I'm not judging now, because I'm going to be there too. But I don't know. I don't know if you're my kid's educator, because at least I know I'm coming here to release, and I have a love language for my children. And you have a job. And every time I'm a city vendor, I'm an educator as well. I create public school, charter school, any school, after school programs. I create things that are focused on food policy, all forms of civic engagement, to trust yourselves and know your rights. That wasn't a job. That's not a job. That's my life calling. And then I met teachers who that's their life calling, and you could see in the numbers of their students, and you could see in their advocacy and them quitting their job and going to another building because they was not going to not love and have a passion for what they did. But then you see the majority who it's a job, and they're frustrated, and their bodies are responding to it, and their health is responding to it. And this is not me saying, oh, you educators ain't crap. This is saying educators, take care of yourself. And then you have to say, well, can they take care of themselves with all this pressure? With someone, where's your creativity? Imagine going to school for another 8 to 10 years, and you don't have a right or a say in the curriculum you teaching. That's a disservice to someone who's a master, who's the master level or the master level or the PhD of education, and you do not have a say in how these youth are educated. So all your creativity and your ideas and your genius, right? Your intelligence goes out the window, and you become a servant.
Your kid has music in them. They just need the right tools to let it out. Homeschool Beats Academy teaches kids ages 7 to 18 how to make real beats at home on their schedule, in their own style. No experience needed. Grab the complete First Beat Kit free at homebeatsacademy.com. That's homeschoolbeatsacademy.com.
To a system. And that does not sound like a building that I want my children in, because the people there are not evil, they are oppressed. And that's my opinion. And in my opinion, it's from being in the building. It's not from me on the outside. I was in these buildings. 10 years, 10 to 12 years. I could say 2 of those years just doing pop-up programming, but at least 10 years with working and consistently working and building programs in a building. And I will walk in the building, and some of them I'm walking and have to catch my breath because I felt like I'm walking into a prison. And I'm an outsider. I'm not in a union. I'm not used to this 9 to 5. Is this like someone meet your partner and they were like, oh, he crazy? Like, really? Because you're so used to the cray, you don't even I'll be like, wait, is he crazy? You got to call your sister to come investigate, And that's what I felt I was. I would walk in, public health strategist, coming here to improve the public health of the building. And I would just say, start with the humans. Like, how are you improving your human life every day when you're in charge of 30 human lives? And that's only 30 in your home room, but you have hundreds.
I'm about to say, try 100, 147. I can imagine New York, they probably had like 200.
Yes, a day. And you have to like offer them this high intense education. Then you hear all the hooplas and about, hey, you're in 5th grade, but we're going to teach you at 2nd grade because you're not here. We just put you here in 5th grade. But so we're going to teach you at 2nd grade. Not tell the parents that they can opt out of state exams, then make you take a 5th grade state exam. And then we're going to shut down your whole zip code and say the zip code can't read. The zip code minorities cannot read because they couldn't pass a test that you did not prepare them from. 4, nor did you tell the parents their rights. Let's not talk about the immigrant neighborhoods where parents don't speak English and you have a kid that does not speak the language in a class with a teacher who can't speak their language. That is intense and the teachers are suffering. They're dealing with things going on in their reproductive organs, male and females. They're going through things. The endocrine system is shutting down. There was a case study about, this was in what they called it urban cities. I think NIH did the case study about teachers who worked in certain communities, how they were having early, onset MS, different nervous system disorders that were not in their family were popping up into their bodies in their 40s. They're starting this job at 23. By the time they're 40, their nervous system is shut down. And they're going to get more degrees. They got their nice car, riding to the and look at me, I got my red bottoms. You know what I mean? But you're sick. Your hair's falling out. And then if you are in a Black or Latin body, let's start with Black body, everything that's going wrong is your fault. It is no one's fault but yours. And so in that cycle, I said, I guess your asses are staying home with me. We going to a co-op with like-minded community members. And we started with co-ops. And I say this, the co-op, it became easier to choose this when I started having home births. So by the time all these kids are born, except for the 5-year-old, I said, the freedom, the connection that most of the professionals that the society wants me to honor in America do not agree with, me embracing my baby, saying, girl, where you at? Oh, you in this part of my body? Okay, come on, we got to because I say girl because I only have daughters, 4 daughters, right? Each one having conversations. I said, well, they did teach me this in school. They did. You could have AP, you top the class, you taking over the world, but I don't know what's going on in my body. I don't know anything that's going on. I don't know the nutrient levels of food that I'm eating. I don't understand why we don't have farmers markets in my neighborhood. I don't know how. I don't know what a community board is, but I have the top math scores in the district. What does that mean if you're going to die young? Let's just get
exactly.
What does that mean if you're going to spend most of your adult life not well? None of that matters. And I'm not the perfect parent. As you can see, I'm a wildcat, So my kids have enough. They're going to be social, okay? And they're going to have all the swag they need. Let's not meet the dad, okay? So we wild. Scorpio and Libra parents, you don't need school. You got us, You don't need nobody. We good, But in this, it's all about democratic education. And that's what all the programs I have developed are led in democratic education. The children choose. What do you want to learn? What kind of initiatives should we create? What is missing in your neighborhood? Helping their minds be creatives, because I'm telling you how many people are going to school, spending $100,000 on education, and you don't have no power. You can't impact legislation. You can't change policies. You don't know when a bills got passed in your neighborhood. You have no way of changing a system that was set up for your demise. So you're going to become a master and a doctor level in any field, and you have no power in this country to do anything. Go to take your behind to your job, get money, brag about it, buy things, more things, brag about it, sit at brunch, clicking nails, okay, judging people, using big 18-letter words, but the policies in the neighborhood that you having brunch in, you have no power over. Please tell me how that's greatness. This is our land. This is our nation. One nation under God. And we're going to add God to it? We're going to add something that's infinite, all-knowing, all-powerful, but you ain't got nothing. You need to be godlike. But I don't got no power, mamita. How can I be godlike? How can my kids be godlike if they have no power? Because God is power, all power. And God has continuous power over all things. So if I'm godlike, I don't even have power over what goes on in my zip code. And I'm going to send you to a building to help oppress your interests in that even more. Why would I do that? It's a setup. And I doubt myself all the time. I have been educated in this system. I have been an A student. I have been the top star. I'm in the front of the play. I'm the best. And I was chronically depressed, thinking of my life. Okay, constantly, it'll bring me to tears to know that you could be worshiped and praised that high and you don't even love yourself. Dreading waking up every day to go into that building, dreading it. And yes, those kids need that building to get some food. Be quiet and stop shaming parents and go teach them how to get food. Go help them. Offer after-school programs for parents to educate themselves and stop calling them bonnet moms. Oh, you saw that mom? That's your mom. That's your mom. It's your daddy trauma that you bringing up, not healing from. You educating yourself, but not healing. Okay, how many social workers over here judging? And I can always say this because I've been in therapy since I was a teenager. I know how to fire a therapist. I know you ain't shit. Excuse me. I know your ass ain't getting no therapy yourself. Okay? And that's why I tell my kids, try everything so that when you have a voice, you got something to back it up. Because that's what you got to do in my city. You can't come here like, sweat me because I have a doctor in front of my name. I was on this I was in the New York Times. And of course you were. You oppressive. That's the only people going to make it there. The real righteous people, only time we in the New York Times is when our face is in a mugshot because we decided to fight back. Okay? We don't make it to
I told y'all she used her voice. I told y'all she used her voice.
Let me take some of this little mango acai bowl. Come on now. What you talking about?
You know how, I don't know if you see, because you know you don't be watching stuff, but what is it? Don't be a menace in South Central while drinking your juice in the hood. And you know how anytime they would say like certain things, Keenan Ivory Wayne would pop up and be like, message. That's how I wanted. A couple times I wanted to say that message. Like, did you get that? Like, honey.
Now, you know I didn't watch that, and I love how you had a disclaimer. You said, I know you don't be, I do not watch anything. And I'm trying to change the kids, like, you've never seen movies in like 10 years. You don't watch television. Like, how do you know all this stuff? Because it's electric. You know what I mean? I'm electric.
Yes.
Electric, I'm tapping in like this right here. This is my ancestor shake. You need to make one for your van, your RV. And I shake this and I call on my ancestors. I call on I don't have many of these ancestors. No, not my family. Nah, boo. And I'm proud. I got the thugs in my family who were not robbing people and harming them, who were saying no to a system. So I'll be like,
gotta say, you just saying stuff with your chest. Your family, you come from a generation to say it with your chest.
Say it with your chest, because that's how you stay the best. Okay? Okay? That's how we stay the best. And I just is shaking on these things because this is fun. This is exciting to talk about, but we're living this life. Yes. As a 47-year-old woman, I had grandparents who were oppressed in Harlem, in this dope behind Free City. Okay. Who had to put their head down in what is it called? 1960s. It's not that long ago. And so in their buildings, being made uncomfortable, and then saying, "You're righteous. If you go be the first, get spit on, kicked in your face." You know why? Why now? Okay, let me tell you why, girl. Because God wants to make you suffer because he loves you. Then when your child end up in a domestic violence relationship, your daughter going to say, well, you said God beats you to make you stronger. Ain't that what you said? So my man beating me because he loved me. You taught me that. Okay, you said the master obey my master. And you said your man is my leader, so I'm doing what you told me to do. We have to be in a world that says, don't say this word. Oh, this guy, he goes, you cannot make this up. Because I'll be outside, excuse me. See, a lot of y'all chicks. First, I'm a chick. Then I said, you might as well say bitch. That's what you really mean. He's like, yeah, well, look, you want to play around, Marilyn, you want to play around. See, y'all bitches be calling your kids. You be saying children are kids, and that's a goat. I said, oh yeah, you got a message today? You trying to teach us something? And this is one with massive college degrees. By the way, this is not no on the block selling rocks. No. This is the educated Black man, right? Who's powerful, who's attractive, who's wonderful. I'm not shaming him, but this is what he chose to put out in the atmosphere. And so I had to help him out. I had to call on the thug. I said, thugs, help me. Because I'm going to say, get your out my face. But I didn't want to do that. I wanted to help him. So I did my shake in my head. And I said, so what you're saying, that you're pushing the oppressor's language. So if I say any word in this language, it's a curse because it ain't my language. And it was given to me by someone who forced it on me and took away my dialect, my natural colloquialism. So boo, no. Second, I said, well, you know what I think this is? I get it. You would prefer to have sex with a chick, a bird, or a bitch, a dog, right? You would prefer that, right, than have a sex with a goat. So since you don't want to have sex with a goat, you don't want me to say the word kid, right? Because my children's are goats and you haven't tried to have sex with me. But it's okay if I say another word and you have sex with a bitch, with or a chicken. So thank you for telling me your preference. And people started laughing. And I brought that up like this. It's because that powerful Black man could have said anything and gave me any kind of wisdom with all the education he has, with all the top dollar outfits he had on, and his big old financed ride he had outside, okay, with his very limited land ownership, with his nice large mortgage that the bank owns any day he loses it, owns nothing basically in my eyes, no sovereignty in anything. No sovereignty, but you want me to be educated in a system that doesn't make you sovereign to anything. You're not even in charge of your blood. You know what Ezra, my 5-year-old, said to the doctor? She said, why are you taking all my blood? And he said, I need to check on it. So she said, check on it where? Where are you going to put it? Do you throw it in the garbage? Does it go down the toilet? He's like, wait, what? I said, you answer her. She's important. this is our family. She said, you're just going to take my blood and not going to tell me where you're going to take it to? That's what school don't do.
No, ask you the question.
Ezra had peed the bed, grandma house. Child, hilarious the way the world sees homeschoolers. So she goes, yeah, you tell me this, but the girl done peed the bed. And I said, well, did you give her liquid after 6 or 7? She goes, no, I didn't. Ezra goes, excuse me, you did. She said, I didn't give you anything. She said, you gave me ice cream. And ice cream turns into a liquid when it melts. And when I'm eating it, it melts. And so now I had liquid. And I had it late. And she goes, see, the picnic is a genius. She's a genius. Why is she not in school? She would be so smart if she was in school. Girl, if we don't shut this laptop down, I say, is this real? Imagine,
you know your mama funny, so
how smart she would be, because this is a true story. This happens all the time. I said, wait, what? So we couldn't celebrate the moment. You had to take a moment of greatness and turn it into something negative because you don't approve of how I'm raising my children, who are actually showing you that they're free thinkers. It's not about being smart. Smart means I read something and memorized it. No, sweetheart, I don't need to be smart. I want to be intelligent. I want to be
knowledgeable.
Yes. I want to have comprehension of all your all your bull. Okay, I want to be able to comprehend, not read it, comprehend your
And
bull.
question it. Question it.
And question it. Where you
You know,
taking
I got
my
a question
blood?
on my look. You know, I got a question on my hand. Like, you know, that oldest one, honey. She,
Well, I got two of those Capricorns in my house.
But why?
But why? So you think that's okay? Absolutely, I do. Thank you. You don't, but you don't have to, and that's the good
Yeah.
part of this freedom. You don't have to agree with what I'm doing, and it's not me saying, but you're going to do it anyway. No, you don't have to agree. We can go back and forth, but because of, not because I'm your mama, but because of my level of experience in the area, is where we're going to decide what we're going to do next. There's an actual, and there's some days where I'm like, if you better get on back, because we ain't talking about no little cute parenting and I'll have hard days, because these kids get on my nerves. Okay, I am not the one to come on here and be like, oh my goodness, homeschooling is epic. It's not always epic. I need them to get out my face, especially when your money has shifted and you're in a new entrepreneur adventure, and they're not in a co-op part-time, but they are part of a dance company, which has helped us shift, and they love it there.
Yes.
And they do deal with the trials and error of being like one of the few children who are homeschooled. They have been influenced. And my daughter's like, I'm gonna take the high school exam and I'm gonna go to high school. And I'm just sitting there like, shaking my ancestor jar, shaking it, because I'm not going to say nothing, because I'm Miss Democratic Education. And you know my kids very well. They will like, that's what you preach. So we get into it. And so I started loading her schoolwork up. And she was just like, why are you giving me all this? Is a lot. I said, girl, you said you want to take a high school test. I said, they're going to make you do all of this work. And she's like, what is this? This doesn't even matter. I said, oh, now tedious foolery, history on people who don't care about you, lies. None of that's not worth your time. It's not, but this is what you want to do. And this is not me mocking the system. This is facts. Okay. And they're going to pressure you and pressure you and pressure you and pressure you. And if you can't handle the pressure and you black, we were born for pressure. We're diamonds. I ain't no damn diamond. I am a physical body. This is they be out here, Jay, comparing us to rocks. I am not a rock, okay? I have a heartbeat. I have a nervous system. I have a cardiovascular system that needs me to breathe, to slow down. It doesn't need me to be radiating heat 24 hours a day, being resilient. This person recently was like, oh, and how did she literally said this? How do your kids learn resilience? I said, they're black in America with a vagina.
Right. I'm about to say, is that something you have to learn? Like,
I said, I wrote a book called The Vulnerable, A Guide to Honoring Your Gut, and it actually combats resilience. And resilience is for a broken leg. Okay? Resilience is for a rash. Resilience is for a little infection. May my body be resilient through the infection, and let's get it out our body, and we back. But the resilience you're pushing, especially on Black human beings, means endure hardships for long periods of time with smiles on your face. So where that is literally the law. Let a grown woman show up and cry and say, oh, I don't like that. You're making me uncomfortable. Wow. This girl was like, oh, you got to grow and be strong. You don't believe in yourself. I said, why? Because I won't let you fuck with me? Excuse me. Why? Just like that. Because I won't let you hurt me with your words and call that growth. And you see these plants, you see my beautiful babies. Let me start ripping these plants. I ain't watering you. You don't need water. You don't need. Why you asking for sunlight? How dare you? And let me stop. I'm sorry. I apologize. This is all an act. It's all an act. I got you, babies. It's all an act. But the same people who say they won't treat their plants that way, they would never. The way they treat children. This principal, I remember it was at a charter school, and I ain't gonna get into too many details. And I was contracting there. She had all these, I love plants. So she had all these beautiful plants in her office. I feel like it was the only place that had a window with light. Everybody else's office had gates on the window. But we ain't gonna get into that. And so she starts yelling at her staff member, and them kids, the way she was talking about the kid, I was acting, I needed the money, y'all. I needed my contract. So I was standing there trying not to be overwhelmed. And I said, forget it, Marilyn. You got money before, you can do it. This is your calling. I said, well, ma'am, I want to ask you a question. I love your plants. What do you do? Oh, well, this one has to be in the window because, we need light. This one needs the shade. That's why my girl over here. And I said, well, what if what if your teacher needs some sunlight? One of your teachers need affection and gentleness and need you to go over things a little more than others. What if a student needs AAA? She was just like, hold this lifted. So you got time for plants, right? And that's y'all important. But human lives that you're receiving hundreds of thousands of dollars for, you don't have patience for them. They get together. And then I also ask, so if this was a different population, would you treat them kids that are outside your culture? And I've said this to white principals, Black principals, Hispanic principals, which are the least in New York City. There's not as many Hispanic leaders, which there should be, highly educated community. I just want to put that out there, as there should be in this nation, right? Especially with all of the children, that's their first language. I'm confused when I see a lot of even assistant principals, that are of a Spanish-speaking culture, and girl. So I say this to say, you're not safe. And I told her that. And I cried because I know everybody was going to be mad. I was like, I need this money, son. But I said, you are not safe. And I need money. I need this contract. I need the extra thing on my resume. I need all of the things that come with getting contracts. But I don't need, because of who I am spiritually, I don't need this kind of pressure on me. I do not need to come into an environment that does not think the main source of income. I said, because they're your income. Your income is because of these kids, not because of you and your pop-in staff. Because of the children is why you're getting funding. I can't be in an oppressive, nor have my children there. So this is why I keep doing this, because it doesn't make sense sometimes. I really need a governess, a full-time governess who's going to homeschool my kids with me, help me raise them properly. Things I've had in the past when I had a lot of contracts, I had access to this. So now, because of you, I have an ebook. You help me edit. And I'm working on selling that. And I pulled back, lost my dad, my kids. We all lost him. He passed away in front of us. I am still recovering. Still, just saying it, I want to cry. Grief is not a game. Anything that can happen to you, grief is just something that has no timing. You could be just skipping down the block, in a car with your cutie, like, he's so fine. And then he could smell a certain way. I smell my dad. Or he make a little comment and I hear my dad, Carlos Silva in the building. All his, and then I'll be like, oh God, it's happening. It's happening. And it also happens to them. We'll sit at the table and Ezra will be like, yeah, so grandpa was talking to me. And they all be like, oh, and they get up. Aww. And then you got to deal with each person. And then Ezra like, well, I said, Ezra has to deal with grief her way. Grace deals with grief her way. And we are 5 people with a uterus in a apartment who have to deal with the different emotions. But I know if they were pushed in school, we wouldn't be able to have time to have those conversations with 9-10-hour days. We wouldn't even have the time to tap in. Not saying that parents do not, but everything's on a tight schedule that is unnecessary. So in this stage of my life, I am going for gold, not for diamonds. Because diamonds are... Bonjo! Oh, child.
You can hear them, huh?
Yeah, it's okay. I live in Brooklyn, so we so
no, I ain't doing all that hollering.
But you know what I took my ancestors. I felt like my ancestors said, "Yep, we going for gold. Diamonds, yes. Diamonds are overrated, but gold." Just think about what gold is in this world, like oil. I'm going for gold and oil. That is how I'm viewing my life, because that's what everybody fights off for. They got whole wars because of oil and gold, because they need to function. You need to function. This paper, these swiping, these devices, tapping. And girl, be grateful for your older RV. I said, me and the girls, I'm looking for our car. And so they online looking with me. Because we get on the road. We're going to sell this book. We're going to share. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going to be healing. I'm a healer. And I'm doing it full time because it won't turn off, right? So I'm doing this not in secret. We going out there. They all looking in the table like, what about Diaz? What about, they got all tons of opinions. They about to knock me out. And so I was like, well, look at the car. Something exciting for them. They're like, that car looks like not even great grandmother had that car. I said, because I'm looking at cars that are not traceable, okay? That there's no tracing nothing of
Right.
what I'm doing. And I said, we gonna all get flip phones, so get ready. Enjoy your smartphone. Enjoy it for now, you know? Oh, my thing was, see what I'm saying? I just recorded. Enjoy your smartphone for now, because soon it's gonna say adios, you know, and we're gonna be flip phoning out. Randy was like, she just got up off the table. So how are you going to be on social media? I could use a camera. You ever thought people use digital cameras and upload? There's ways. There are other ways besides what you have been trained. And I am not in the mood for people to be tracking my every move, my every spend, my every dollar. And I know it sounds wild, but I know I'm going to end up with a partner in the governance who's like, roll out.
Yes.
Roll out. It's going to align. And I'll be patient and wait for those things, because this is not a season to pull back. It is a season to push forward. I got a fellow New Yorker in office. He's standing at the mic. We know who we talking about. I mean, New York, like, that's how he be at the mic. Like, he on the block about to set it on somebody. See what you don't know is. Now, see what you don't know is, he sounds like a whole homie. Like, homie, this is not a business conversation. This is our lives in your hands. So you know what? If he could go up there with his little self and be like, you want to know about these streets? You know what I'm saying? Then why can't I? Because that's what he's saying quite often. He has not changed from the person. But I know when I'm on the West Side Highway going downtown and we look up, you can hate him all you want. His names are on buildings. And I tell my daughters this: we don't admire human beings. We don't admire legislation, but we watch them. You do admire someone who uses wisdom to do whatever the hell they want to do, and watch people let them. Okay? That's what we're here to do. This is not about you like Trump. Why would I like any politician? Like, come on, whether you look like me, don't look like me, why would I like them? They have a job that is set up for me to fail. Do you not see who I am? Do you not see these features, this beautiful divine blackness? This system wasn't set up for me. We built this system. They like, oh, whooped her, beat her, enslaved them. Okay, how do we build a law around keeping them this way? That's how laws were built. They were built on how much these niggas could take. And you want me. Then they said, let's get a system to monitor them and train them to work in these factories. We need workers. Open up something. What are we going to call it? School, escuela. Escuela. What are we going to call it, mamita? And it's not a conspiracy. You know, the most educated people about conspiracy stuff. And I'll be looking like, how many? So you just went in that building, in that higher education online, wherever you went, and just followed. And you want to sit at a bar, a restaurant, a lounge, and try to pop game to me. Like, no. Go in your Jaguar. Okay, I'm gonna still be singing Ashton Martin, but Ashton Martin, when I get in a ride with my Ashton Martin kind of boss, he my boss, he gonna be a boss of himself. Okay, riding down the freeway, and this is what I share with my daughter.
That's my song. That's my song.
Because they alive. I don't hide emotional freedom, my desire for a partner. I have to tell them. We was outside, Granny's like, please. I said, sorry, ma'am, I'm not a strong Black woman. So this conversation is going to go the wrong way. I'm a fragile being who will hurt you if necessary, but I am not a strong Black woman.
Girl, the way I turn into a damsel so quick, I will turn into a, let her be a man around. Huh? No, I need you. When I'm by myself doing everything, like lifting up cars and everything. But a man? What? Wait, no, I need you.
I have no idea what I'm doing. When they dad comes, and you know me and him go through a lot. We've been friends our whole life. He cut my hair. That is his new full-time job. Like I said, I done spilled acai on my jacket. It's okay. Just Sunday. He cut my hair on Sunday. And he's just like, I was sitting there. He's like, what is wrong with you? I said, I don't feel well. It's pressure. I just had my event the day before. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I just need to cry. And I miss my dad because this is the time like a cold, good old Libra. Like, these parents have to be like, hi, father. I am not well like, that's not how I was raised. I wasn't forced into that foolery. I was able to be myself. And I don't really have many spaces that are like, yes, they do that. But when you have spiritual gifts, you know, they shading you because what you're saying is going over their head. And I'm not the strong, educated Black woman in that sense to where I want people to listen to my voice and not understand what I say. Like, that makes no sense. Like, oh, you didn't understand because you're not here. You're not on my level. Why are you talking?
All right. Like, so when I say, why are you talking to me then if you're not talking for me to understand? It's like pretty interesting.
You talking to me to admire and be impressed, but I'm not impressed by things I don't understand. Like, that's what the school teaches you. Be impressed by somebody who comes in front of this room and they say, I did this. Like, how this, or I had a middle schooler. I did a survey. And I love, you know why we love surveys, Jay? Because surveys, especially anonymous surveys, they tell the truth. They get to the root. And they say, well, I just really wish, I don't think they use flossing, but I'm gonna use my own older self word. I'm tired of these teachers coming here flossing like they better than me. Or one that said, teachers are savior. They the new saviors. Because I'm trying to tell them I don't understand and I got reprimanded because I don't understand and you're here to teach me. So if I'm supposed to show up to your class already knowing this, I'm confused. Because there's a Zenny and Alpha is not listening to y'all. So y'all better rethink your curriculums. Because Zenny, who can Google and chat anything you say, is not listening to you. They are inventing six-figure businesses, okay? They're inventing. I met a young lady. She was homeschooled. I met her at the co-op. Right now, she's 23. She's viral on TikTok. Did not graduate anything and does not care. She created the world's largest claw clip, and a lock brush, right? They're both made out of sustainable products. No plastic. It looks like plastic, but it's made by cotton and all these plant-based products. And it's unbreakable. And she was showing us in clothes, and it's large for long locks, and she has small ones for small locks. And 23 years old, viral on TikTok. She opened up
that's amazing.
All the sales she's getting. That's what she's spending her life doing. And not selling she sells other people's stuff too, but she invented that. She took the time to sit down and I said, so you're an engineer, breaking down what they don't call people like that. Oh, you create cosmetic, excuse me, inventor, engineer. This is math. And no, I didn't go to your buildings. I met her when I put my kids in that co-op, and she was supposed to be in 9th grade, and her mother took her out and put her in the Homeschooling HSYK Institute out here in Brooklyn. And look at what came out of it. There's always issues in co-ops. We crazy, they crazy, we all be crazy. Like, society knocking us out, doing fight. Like, it's like you in a boxing match every day. You don't even want to say your kids is in homeschool, right? And you're seeing everybody go through things in their marriage and their family, and those are like almost like a compound. Like, you have to see it 3D. You don't get to mask it in the DOE buildings, right? But even though we know they're not masking it because teachers come with attitudes. They don't tell you literally what's going on. They come hungover to work, tipsy on tipsy.
I love it.
They take their little smoke, get high break, and I'm not judging.
Before, I about to say my first year subbing, the teachers told me they got together and smoked before school. I was like, what? Get out of here. I said, don't y'all know these kids know y'all high? Like, they know that, like, because they high, so they know you high. Like, what?
And listen, I ain't going to say I never smoked weed, but I sure can function and go to work. That is not my gift. I smoke some weed. I'm sitting by the water, thinking about
chilling and snacking. That's what I'm gonna be doing. I'm gonna be chilling.
I'm gonna be snacking and thinking about my Ashton Martin man. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I ain't gonna be thinking about no kids. I am not gonna be thinking about teaching no kids. Okay, no,
not even a little bit.
So I was speaking. This lady's like, you're like, not honing in on like your bio. I said, didn't I tell you I'm a homeschooler? I'm off the off the gridder, So I don't have a polished speech for you because life is not polished. I'm setting people up to win, to be relatable without being them or saying, hey, I'm relatable because I look like you, I dress like you. I'm relatable because I'm making this clear and understandable so that you can apply the tools that I'm offering to your daily life. Otherwise, there's no point in me opening my mouth. There's no point. I don't need to impress anyone. And my behind don't impress people. I create fear, okay? Listen, I'm not, people don't be impressed by me. They be like, wow, she's a lot. There's a lot going on. Ooh. I'm sorry if you want to be a little. That's why I don't want my kid to go to your school so they could be a little bit. They could be small and shrunken. So this is what I try to help my daughters understand because they get on each other's nerves. They don't always defend each other. They don't always got each other's back. They go through hard days. They go through great days, because they're learning and growing together in a 3-bedroom apartment. And we're grateful we even have a 3-bedroom apartment because it could be a 1-bedroom or whatever, So we're trying, and this with 4 or 5 people in this 3-bedroom apartment, it feels like Ezzy's like, I can't wait till we have like a big house. This is big, but like a house. There's a part I can go into and no one can get me. It's like, get you. But this is her 5-year-old language. This is me having trauma in America. Like, who getting you? Like, she's like, and I could just be alone because she is a lone vibe. And that's not something we created. It's a game. She gets her things. She finds her corner. She creates a whole community in that living room. And she'd look at you. She's like, it's time for me and my toys. Because she's my kid. So that's how she does it. She's like, so can y'all... But then
don't come out here.
But then she wants us back and she's like, can somebody make me a smoothie? And she goes like, can you make me a smoothie? So I said, kids learn. Don't worry, America. They still learning your craziness, okay? They learning how to manipulate. They're learning how to get what they want. It's called humanity. And that's it. I want my children to do things like, this is my antiviral invention. It does not taste that great. And I'm trying to get it to taste better, right? But I would gladly, it's made with castor oil, which a Western medicine said you cannot ingest, right? Avocado oil, they tell you only olive oil and not even in large quantities. You're not supposed to ingest all of that. But it has like maulbe, it has ashwagandha, it has, raw ginger, raw garlic, raw turmeric, because it can ferment in the oil. And we practice different ways of, it definitely has chasteberries because we're a bunch of girls, which are also forms of antiviral essential oils in here. And then you take it on your tongue and Ezra goes, but she takes it. Yes,
But guess what was in this?
Oh, fire! So that was what I had next.
Yes, ma'am. I'm about to say, I told you how my body is right now. I said, I need to take that fire. I drank the rest of it. I don't have any more. So when I got my jar, my big one that you started with, don't worry, because I'm going to need some more. But that is what I took. And I feel like it helped to dry it out some.
Yes, because this is years old and it only gets better and stronger. That's the kind of things I want to create. And not sell, because let's make that clear. I don't want to sell any of this. I just want, it's not about like, let me sell this to you, but let me teach you how to make it yourself.
Yes.
Have it long-term and not rely on me, on my store or rely on money, paying me to give you something that you can make. And then you can switch what you need for yourself, what you and your family needs are. Like, Grace deals with the dry skin, so we'll put neem in ours, We'll put black pepper essential oils because it creates circulation. So it's great for blood pressure, but circulation also heals the skin because your blood needs to keep flowing and our body needs to push, support the filtering organs. So, or making this Randy she's dealing with acne. So I made her an anti-acne. Does she take the tea all the time? No. We make a anti-cramp tea. It literally works, but will she drink it? Started menstruating. I know she usually does 3 days later. I say, drink the tea. I was already about to do it. And I already knew you was going to, all this teenage stuff. Well, just do it because what happens when you don't, you notice it and they do notice it. So even if they don't listen, The great part is that they're noticing that they can create their own medicine, not for retail, not because we're doing this to sell you something, but we're doing this to sustain our human anatomy. And that's all the science I need my children to understand, unless they go into a
Yes.
field of STEM that requires something higher than that. But people are literally engineers. And I was on what is it called? Clubhouse. Someone told me, come to this room on Clubhouse, right? And it was tech guys who were dealing with inflammation. They have like bioengineering degrees, but don't know what an herb is.
Don't
Some
understand
of them
it.
come from
Yes.
countries, were born in a country where that's what they live off of, but now they're in this country forgetting it, taking pills, and not only pills that were prescribed to them, if you know what I mean, to keep going. Energy drinks, but you're the scientist. So the science is not sciencing, okay? And I want to make sure that it is. Like when you open this, woo, like we do bartership. That's the last event. So a friend, she's going to help tutor. She's a math teacher. She's going to help tutor the girls. And I make her anti-inflammation tea and I mailed it to her. And we're going to help each other out. That system still works, you know? And this is, it has cinnamon, it has nutmeg, it has cayenne pepper, it has to help clear the blood, it has burdock root, it has turmeric. Okay, these are key essentials. And then also, whenever I'm making something for a particular person or even my children, I'm tapping into the ancestors. I'm tapping in the spirit, and I'm asking. I said, Randy, I put out everything on the table. What is your palate salivating? Is your palate salivating by which one? Smell it. If you start to salivate, that's your body saying, I need that. If you feel the chills or your hands start sweating, our body speaks to us. And I feel like your body has to be quiet in school. Your mouth, your nervous system, all of it has to be muted. If you have cramps, bad cramps, like, oh, girl, take some Advil, popping drugs, teaching our children to take drugs. And they say, don't do drugs, but you taught me how to take drugs. You told me to take Advil. You told me to take drugs to relieve my pain. It's a drug, boo. That's a whole drug. You want to have a baby? Take some drugs. Gotta do this? Take some drugs. Drug addicts. Say no to drugs. Like, I don't understand.
Not these though. Not these drugs.
No. Energy drinks. I went to a school that had energy drinks in a vending machine.
That's wild.
What? And this is facts. And then they had first the energy drink to make up from the crashing of the honey buns that was in the other vending machine. So it was going to make up from the drugs, the sugar drug you was giving them. Then they had, when they crash from the sugar drug, they're going to need another drug to keep them going so they could pass your busted behind tests that mean nothing to their future. They don't teach them anything about their human anatomy, how to access their rights, which legislators in charge of basic things like crime, like who brought liquor into my neighborhood? Why is there new people in the this neighborhood is changed now because there's a different cultural population, but now there's 13 bars that are packed every night. But y'all not drunks. We at the liquor, can't afford $14 drinks here in New York or $12 beer. A cup of beer, $12. So we gonna get our little $2 beer and stand in front of the store. And now we horrible and you classy. You know what I'm saying? I don't make it make sense. But these are the conversations I have with youth because they're curious.
Wow.
They're curious.
My part just pulled up. So that's my excitement. My part just pulled up.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes. Okay, but no, okay. Before I let you go though, two things. One, because you are a healer, you do a lot of work. And we didn't even get to the work that you do, really. We talked about homeschooling in this aspect, and I'm definitely going to have you back. But how do you self-care? Like because you talked about all the people you take care of, how you teach people how to take care of themselves, those little beings that you have, and being in that house with all of that lovely estrogen. How do you make sure you stay balanced? How do you make sure your cup stays filled?
I go on dates because I like it. And if I didn't like it, I wouldn't. Okay. I like men and I'll go around them. That's one. I work out with men, you know. because that brings me joy. I am a dad's girl, you know. I love masculine energy. We don't have it in this house, so I need to be around it. So I go work out with men, and it's non-sexual, you know. And if I do want to be sexual, I'm open about that and free to make sure I take care of myself. That there's no rules to single parenting, because first of all, I don't really want to be single and a parent. I'm just a parent, and it's two
Yeah,
separate
right.
things. I'm a parent and I'm single. It's not a title that goes with blackness, okay? Because that people just label on me. So that's one. Those engaging with masculine energy. Then two, I go out. I go out dancing. I love to dance. I really do. I have to. Oh, it is not always easy, because some days I can go to a space that I feel great in, and the next time I go, my spirit says, "Get out of here ASAP." You know. So being a healer, it's not always easy for me to find the right spaces that I can afford, that have the crowd that I don't feel oppressed in, you know, and where my spirit can manage it. So I go out dancing, and I love to read. I really, and of course, one of the main things when I go to workout part, I work out, but I also work out. I go out in the morning, almost 7 days a week, because now we live literally a block away from Prospect Park. And I go out to the park, and I create joy. You know, are you frozen? I think you're frozen. Jay? Okay, you're back. You was frozen.
I'm gonna say,
You
am
was
I
frozen.
moving? You
I didn't
see
know
me?
I was frozen.
Okay.
So I go to the park and I create joy. I love nature. I go to the park. I started this group called the Rebel Walk. I go every Wednesday at 8 a.m. and Saturday at 8 a.m. I created something called the Rebel Walk, and you can walk around the park with me, and we connect to our ancestors. We connect, but it's also me. People don't always show up, especially in the middle of a snowstorm. Like I was outside, and
Yeah, I saw them videos, girl. I was like, she is crazy, yo. She out here in this freezing. You know, I'll be a bird. I'm gonna be at the
I
house.
know, and you know I love the
Tell
cold,
me about
so
it.
I need my break. I need that walk. If it's for 1 hour early AM, and if I go at 7 in the morning, then I'm not really disrupting our day, you know, and then I could start working from home, and they could start working school and flow, because we don't really have order. We're unschooling kind of vibe people day by day. But at least that mom had an hour of nobody. You know, if I choose
Yes.
to have social media join me, I usually record it and don't post it till I get back home anyway, you know. But I try to do those things. And that's really, and I'm a big dreamer. I believe big. And the moment I start shrinking that, I realize that depression sets in. I feel like I don't want to get out of bed. When I start shrinking my big hopes and dreams. So though that's what I keep open, and anyone that kind of tries to bring it in like this, I remove myself, because those are the key things. Because life is crazy. It sucks.
It's real out
Out
here.
here being an
It's real out
activist.
here.
I have people DM me now, Randy, Creative Sisters Inc. My beautiful daughters have a digital media company. They have their first client who lives
Oh,
overseas. She is amazing. She has a nutrition business, and she is also a great example of someone who lives. She's been in like traveling. She doesn't have many children, all over the world, not even the country, and staying with family, staying at, what is that thing called? Way stay or something that's called, when you take care of people's dogs and stuff, and you can stay in their property for like
I heard about that. Yes.
yeah, so she does that, and she takes her clients on the phone. She does all of her clients as a dietitian online, you know, and she needs support with social media. And she had great reviews for the girls and them creating this business. I say all that to say is, I forget why I was saying that. About what helps bring us joy is just being creative like that. I forget where I went with that, but I have to brag about my children also, but creating community. And I want to say one more thing. Because of how I grew up in a hostile Bronx during the 80s, you need a knife to survive, but not because people were trying to get me, because people had addictions, and they were not well, you know, and letting go of that fear. Every year, I'm turning 48 this year, I practice new things like going to momentum education to remove the fear I have, especially for the people who have attacked me the most in my life. That's why I brought up the girls, because Randy now is in charge of my social media and she sees some of the DMs. People ask me, you seem like you anti-Jesus. Oh, you seem like, oh girl, like, are you a witch now? Or are you doing this? And sometimes I will stop posting. And I will just go back to giving you Marilyn the Chef, eat healthy, be well, because I don't want to deal with that and curse people out and become a thug, on social media. But I'm not doing that this year because that's fear. And I have fear of relationships. I'm not single because I need to be single. I have a fear of close friendships. The closer I get to someone and I feel like there's love and nurturing, I want to run because somehow something horrible is going to happen. They might want to attack me. And I bring this vulnerable space up because I have to face that. I have to face that as a personality, as an outside person. It comes up. That introverted side of me comes up, and I go to the water and ask the spirit to please help me have discernment on who I choose in my life so that I won't isolate myself from powerful friendships and relationships, diverse ones, because I wasn't born in this city for no reason. Because I'll be standing by the water and I see the Bronx. I'll see a day I walked down and someone pushed me against a wall and I was terrified for my life, and see it right now happening. But I'll let them go to 86th Street, go to movies, stay after school because I'm dealing with my stuff. So that's how I wanted to close. I'm very grateful to be here on this podcast. The longevity of you and your brand and who you are is so honorable, to watch you and to know that I have wanted to take leaps for years with as bold as I am. I haven't done it. So this is not easy. I don't like to say I'm proud of people. I think that's a very American thing because I didn't help create this. You created this. You should be proud of you. I am honored to know you. I'm impressed. This is what I admire. I'm not easily impressed and I don't admire nobody, but I do admire you as a parent with daughters and freedom. And I know your kids, they get on my nerves, they get on other people's nerves. We've all been together. But you keep doing it. It's none of that matters because it's called humanity, right? So thank you, Jay, for having me here and allowing me to witness and allowing all of us to witness this because it keeps us going.
I appreciate you. Thank you.
Yes.
Don't do that. Look, last thing. If listeners didn't hear anything else during this amazing conversation, what's 3 things you want them to take away?
Don't admire politics, understand politics. Understand who you are at war with. Very important. That's one thing. The second thing is wellness is personal. Do not follow what someone else says wellness is. Talk to your body and ask your body what your body needs before you follow anyone else's agenda. And homeschool your kids how you want. There is no rule. There is no rules to this. The only rule is tap in when things are going wrong. That's the only rule. Otherwise, there is no golden rule on how to homeschool. What's the right homeschool? What's the right micro school, co-op? The right way is your way.
Yes.
And that is what we have to grab onto.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
With the El Castillo Dominican strong coffee and fire cider.
Yes, I can't wait to get there.
And I want you, before you get off, because the other thing we were talking about, get some saffron when y'all get out of there. Okay. Saffron is a clearing. Okay, and this one I got from, I get the affordable
Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's. I already know. I know where that came from.
So you're going to get you some saffron.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And look at that glow. Glow up.
Little bit. But no, I appreciate you, Marilyn. I do. You are powerful. I will never, ever take away from anything that I've gained from knowing you. You're amazing. You're amazing. And I always want you to walk in that space. Be as loud, be like, I'm trying to get my voice. Like, I'm trying. But I told you, like, that was my biggest admiration is the power that you use, and you say it with your chest each and every time. I love that. I love you and I appreciate you. So thank you for taking the time to share with us today. And I will definitely have you back on. Parents, listeners, understand that this is your journey. This is your walk. This is your home. This is your kids. Like she said, do what works for you. There is no one way. There is no, I don't care what them Instagram posts and Pinterest and all that other stuff tell you. It's about doing what works for you. It's about doing what works for you. And I wish that I was more privy and more editorial with these videos and stuff, because I would show you more of our world and show you how not perfect things are, but they're perfectly fine for us. Look, they're perfectly fine for us.
That part.
Like, just know it does not look one way. Just, yeah, do you. Look, do you. And homeschool your kids.